Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My today's video is about anxiety signs. So let's get started. This video is only for educational purpose. If you are feeling down, low or exhausted, there can be many other factors. And it is not intended for professional diagnosis. If you have a mental health condition, you are advised to seek professional help. According to American Psychological Association, anxiety is defined as future-oriented fear that lead people to avoid certain situations, which can trigger their anxiety. According to National Institute of Mental Health, it reports that approximately 40 million people all over the globe suffer from anxiety, and it's increasing by the passing year. Perfectionism isn't self and clear signal of anxiety, as I have also discussed in my last video about negative and positive perfectionism, their differences and how it affects us. But in today's video, I am going to discuss four aspects how perfectionism can affect us. When there is a high bar of perfectionism, also when our rigid demands for ourselves start to become an obsessive behavior, that I want to be perfect, that I want to do everything perfectly, like I am painting this painting with paints and I want to be perfect, everything turns into an obsessive behavior. Also, when a person feels to be very best at everything perfectly all the time, also when anyone is unable to meet unrealistic high expectations, what happens when we cannot achieve our high unrealistic expectations, we feel devastated, and also it can be a triggering point for anxiety. Uh, we also try to be perfect because we want to avoid the judgment of others, and we try to be perfect and nice in someone else's eye. Next point is judging yourself. A person who's having anxiety judge themselves much more harshly as we criticize others. Even if they miss one assignment, they feel that they are irresponsible, they self criticize themselves, there is um, element of guilt in it. They use statements like I'm going to fail, I don't do hard work, and they sometimes are very hard on themselves. Basically, anxiety makes it hard for them to feel good about themselves. It make them question everything they do, even if it's a small task. Also, all this self-criticism leads them to negative self-talk, and they then think extremely negative about themselves. The next point is feeling more self conscious, and I believe this happens with everyone when we are nervous, or even when we are in a situation like where we are not comfortable, or we don't feel at that place in that moment. Um, like when we enter a room full of people and suddenly feel like uh, we are unable to walk, or even this happens with me sometimes, but it doesn't mean that we have anxiety. Whenever I was going to give presentation, I just get confused. Obviously, I know everything about the presentation, I made it myself, but standing in front of a crowd, it makes me aware of every sense I have, like how I speak, how I talk. Um, Getting overly self conscious in front of people, this can be a sign of anxiety as well. Sometimes, even entering in a room full of people, it we can forget how to walk, how to give presentation, how to talk. um, we start focusing on how we are standing, our sound of our own voice, and how we started feeling that everyone is just judging us or judging me. Whereas ये भी पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है दैट दे आर नॉट इवन लुकिंग एट मी और दे आर नॉट इवन लुकिंग एट यू. But still, anxiety makes that person feel that everyone is judging him or everyone is just criticizing him or her, or thinking about him or her. That's why that person starts feeling more self-conscious when or after going in that specific situation. Whenever we feel anxious, we try to keep ourselves busy or we feel the need to do so. Um, we like to do the things that may distract us from that specific emotional turmoil. But the people who have anxiety, they are unable to do so. Um, if anyone find that they cannot sit still, relaxed, uh, like there is something left to do, um, they feel agitated all the time, it means that this is the very greatest sign of anxiety. Also, living with anxiety can feel like having busy mind. You occupy yourself with lots of tasks but never get any important work to do. You're just sitting there and thinking about it all day, and it's making you more anxious. This term was coined by psychotherapist Aaron Beck. Catastrophizing or catastrophic thinking, it's cognitive distortion that happens when we overthink things and make them much worse for ourselves than they actually are. When a person keeps thinking about negative things, negative self-talk, um, thinking about that worse is going to happen, even if taking a simple medicine is making to going to make me feel more devastated or going to harm me in any way, that is catastrophic thinking. If anyone who's very pessimistic or who's always very quick to jump to conclusions or find the downside of every situation, this is catastrophizing. um, like if even a slight or small accident happens and uh, they are just going to think that they are going to die, this is catastrophizing. And if someone does this, it means that he or she is definitely dealing with anxiety, and a lot of anxiety, because it happens in a very extreme case. I will discuss more anxiety related points in my next video. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. See you.